Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host. My name is Stunning Steve Barber, and joining me as my co-host is the always awesome, delicious Dwaylon Davis.
Hey, everybody.
And those of you who are watching on YouTube, you see at the bottom of the screen, we have another visitor. And this is actually, well, I'll say my friend, Keri. She's actually my wife's friend, but she's my friend too, and I've been friends with her for a very, very long time now, about 24 years.
Been a while.
Yeah. And she's been my wife's friend since they were about in first grade, and that is not exaggeration.
That's not, yeah.
Yep. So, and when I told my wife, I said, "Hey, I said Dwaylon and I are starting a series called Why Are We Wrestling Fans?" I said, we just got to get those people to ask. The first thing she said is, "You need to ask Keri." And I was like, you know what? You're right. I should ask Keri. Because I've been to a couple of events, a couple of NWF event, and we went to watch a house show.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, when Hulk Hogan came to Cincinnati.
Yep.
Several years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was around 2014, 2015, something like that. Yeah. We saw Charlotte Flair, and they were wrestling like a Santa's Helper match, and Charlotte, she had these little things around her ankles. Finally she just kicked them off because she was going to trip and hurt herself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because she was still in NXT at the time.
I don't remember that part. So she was there.
Charlotte was there. Yeah. She was still in NXT at the time. So I mean, we saw her before she started winning all the women's championships.
Mm-hmm.
So and one of the things I will tell everybody, I was actually telling Keri this, Dwaylon, before we start recording, and I got to tell everybody else. The first time I ever talked to Keri was across AOL Instant Messenger. If that tells you how long ago it was.
Was it really?
Oh yeah, it was across. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had the AIM thing. Because I didn't use AOL.
Yeah.
But my wife Tawana, she did, and then next thing you know, I get this message from this girl Keri, and she said, "Hey, I'm Tawana's friend. You're not going to take her from me." So I immediately, Tawana, I was like, I don't know who Keri is. I said, she's annoying. So, but obviously, like I said, we've kind of gotten past that now because here it is. I mean, I have to say Keri is one of our family's best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's been there for us during rough times. We've been there for her during rough times. Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
So Dwaylon and I, we know all about that too. So
yeah.
So, but well, Keri, before we get started, I do have to go ahead and give our contact and listing info. You've listened to the podcast before, so I go through this, and I try to do it on one breath, but it usually ends up taking me like 10 breaths because it keeps expanding.
Okay.
But if you'd like to email the show, it's at armchairbookingpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to find us on Facebook at facebook.com/armchairbookingpodcast. You can find us on Instagram at armchairbooking. You can find us on Twitter at bookingarmchair. You can find us on TikTok at armchairbooking. If you're on YouTube, you know that this is the one video platform we have, because I don't know of any other video platforms out there that we are on.
I don't either.
Yeah, but the audio platforms, though, we are on just about any kind of audio platform you can think of. If we're not there, let one of us know. Let Keri know, and we would do whatever we can to get ourselves added. You can also find our merchandise, such as, well, you can't find this tumbler anymore, but you can find things like this, coffee mugs, shirts, phone cases, like that. How you like that, Keri? I know you've seen that before.
Nice, yeah.
Yep. But you can go to tpublic.com/user/armchair-booking-podcast. You can find my other podcast called The Cubicle Chat. Just look up Cubicle Chats on all the audio platforms. But you can also find Dwaylon on Twitter at @fat_daddy73. And he is Fat Daddy, and his wife is Big Mama. Together they have a YouTube and TikTok channels named Big and Fat.
Oh.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So they've been went on a little bit of hiatus posting videos, but Dwaylon has been posting more videos lately. So go and check them out, because I was kind of happy to see that. I got a notification. Big and Fat posted a video, and I was like, "Do what? All right, cool."
It's like, okay, let me go see.
let me go check that out. And one of the things that I thought was actually kind of neat was we just found out recently we are on IMDb. Yeah, Keri, we're famous.
Someone told me that.
Yeah, we've just found that out. Just pure chance.
Wow.
I just looked, just Googled, because that's how I was actually looking for all the third party platforms we're on as far as audio.
Mhm.
And I just Googled Armchair Booking Podcast, and all of a sudden it popped up IMDb, and I was like, "Do what?" So uh, I mean, you're dealing with some pretty famous people here.
Yeah, some celebrities here.
Yeah, we're talking upper crust here. So
I'm starstruck, let me tell you.
yeah. So, and actually, if you go leave us on Apple Podcasts anyway, if you're able to leave us a 5-star rating along with a review, we will read it on the air. In fact, I have not checked that today. Let me go check that now to see if we have any new 5-star rating and reviews, because I actually don't get notified. I literally have to go look, which is kind of whatever. Nope, no more, no new ones. But you can also go on Spotify and give us a rating. And if you do that, give me a screenshot of the rating and give us a review. I will still read that on the air. Same with Good Pods is another one. If you give the rating there, there's also I think somebody said Podchaser is another one you can actually give a rating on. But
Okay.
yeah, the ratings you give, it actually helps us get more listeners.
Okay.
So, I mean, and even though we are celebrities, I mean, we still need the fan base. We're always trying to
Right.
increase our listener base.
Right.
Did I miss anything, Dwaylon?
No, it only took you 4 breaths.
Okay, good. Okay, so
Getting better.
I'm getting better. So Keri,
Yeah.
tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Mount Orab, Ohio, which is the same place where your lovely wife is from. Don't tell her I said that though. Is she gonna watch this? Because
She
I
never
don't want.
watches it. Well, no, she might. I mean, well,
Okay.
no, my son, he right before I walked in here, he said, "Hey, I'm listening to your podcast."
Okay,
And-
your pain in the ass wife. Oh no, sorry. But yeah. So grew up in Mount Orab, Ohio. Now I live in Williamsburg, which is just maybe 8 miles down the road. I am a widow. That's happened in the last year or so. But we're doing okay. So I've got 2 step boys, and I have a biological son, and they live here with me. So, but we're doing okay. So.
And I knew Matt.
You didn't.
I did know Matt. Matt was an awesome person. He really was.
Yeah.
The first time Dwaylon we ever met, when I was stationed in Dayton, and he came up with Keri, and Matt and I had a play date, and we went over to the Air Force Museum because Matt he loved planes.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
But yeah, he was a great guy. I mean, he's been missed every day. I mean, obviously by you the most.
Right.
Yeah, and her 3 boys. A little bit of an age difference between the youngest one and then the older 2, but
2 step boys, yeah, they're 20, 23, 22 and 23, and then my son is 9 years, or actually he's 10 years old. His birthday.
Wow,
yeah.
I was going to correct you and say, no, you just posted on
I
Facebook
know.
he turned 10.
I know. Anyway,
And we always like going over to Keri's house whenever we can. Last year at the Super Bowl, we actually went to her house to watch it.
Okay.
So I was surrounded by all these Houday people.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it might happen again. I mean,
it might.
Could very well. Might be having another party here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess we'll be going back over to Keri's again. And then she always feeds us real well. Dwaylon, you need to come up here then that weekend, because Keri she feeds us really well.
Okay.
That's what I people.
So how long have you been a wrestling fan?
Oh gosh, probably since I was like 6 or 7.
Really?
I have an older brother who's 13 years older than I am. And he got me into it. I can't tell you how, I can't tell you why. But I just know that my first memories of wrestling is sitting in my parents' living room with my brother and his family, my young nieces and his wife at the time. And just watch what was it, like Saturday night main event or something, or what? I have trouble with the names, so but we would watch that. We would watch, we didn't have pay-per-view as such.
Right.
So we had to wait for, the Royal Rumbles and the WrestleManias and everything to come out on VHS so we could run it.
Yeah.
And then so but I just remember it was just always was a lot of fun. Always.
And
so that's my initial memories of watching wrestling. So
as your brother, who was the one who got you into it, that was actually my next thing, was what got you into it. But so who were some of your favorite wrestlers then? Who were some of your favorite wrestlers now? And who have been some of your favorites?
Well, obviously Hulk Hogan was always the popular one. But I really liked him, always cheered for him and everything. His music, his his amazing, song that he would come in on, kind of almost gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. But but I was a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. Huge. I had a poster on my wall. I mean, he didn't do a lot, but man, he had some energy. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the place would just blow up when he came out there. And I think that was the biggest attraction to me, was his absolute craziness, when he would come out. So, and
then he would run to the ring and he'd be out of breath, like
start taking the ropes.
Yeah.
And, he'd be So, and it was heartbreaking when he died too. That was really upsetting. But
Dwaylon, I don't even know if I showed you this yet. So this is actually something Tawana got me for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Oh,
yep. She got, apparently WWE, the shop online, they had a lot of sales, because she got me a few wrestling things.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put this back with all the other wrestling stuff. Starting to run out of room. There we go. So that way, this is kind of becoming the combination wrestling Rubik's Cube area back here. Because I'm rocking the the Wildcat Chris Harris shirt again. So but so who are your favorite wrestlers now, at current day, or do you have any favorite?
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I have not watched in a couple years. But this is still an old one, but I've always loved Sting. Always loved Sting.
My sister did too. That was her favorite.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's AEW, which I've watched on occasion. I don't watch any of it regular anymore like I used to. But Chris Jericho, Sting. What's sad is I'm trying to think WWE.
So like Roman Reigns and.
Oh yeah, Roman Reigns, yeah, for sure.
Because he was at that house show that we went to.
Yeah, I think yeah. Yep. So John Moxley, obviously, he's a Cincinnati boy.
Yeah.
But always liked Roman. Always liked John Cena. Was always fun. He never. He was pretty typical though. He'd come out and do his thing and then, leave. But he wasn't too bad. Always The Rock was always entertaining too when he was on there. So, as far as like today though, like I said, I haven't watched a whole lot lately, and I may have to start getting back into it. So,
just kind of ease into it. It may be a little different.
Yeah.
Especially now that Vince McMahon, well, he retired, but then nobody knows what's going on there anymore.
No, as long as he's not in charge of creative, then I'm not fine with him being back. But as long as he's not touching creative and just keeps letting Triple H do his thing, then we'll see where it
Yeah.
goes.
Now, are they selling the company? Because I keep reading that they are.
That's the rumor anyway, but there hasn't been any kind of confirmation. But everybody's thinking that's why Vince came back, was to sell the company.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody knows for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the rumors of them selling to Saudi Arabia, that got squashed. And of course, there was such a backlash to that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and then I heard Disney might buy it.
I've heard that. Now Comcast buying them, I could see that. That would actually be logical because Comcast already owns NBC, which already has Peacock,
Mm-hmm.
and so that one would make sense, and I'd be, oh, okay, there you go.
And there wouldn't be really any adjustment or anything because everything's already on Peacock and they already own it, so they won't have to do anything. If somebody else buys it, then who knows what happens to the network?
Right, and
Yeah.
not only that, but then they'd also have wrestling stuff at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Always a plus. There we go.
Yep. And we'll talk to my wife, the travel agent. She's on her 4th trip to Orlando in the past 6 months right now. So, and like I told her, I would move to Florida in a heartbeat. It's nice and warm.
Mhm.
If you got arthritis, you want to be where it's warm.
Yeah.
Dwaylon and I, we actually have a friend, from high school who lives down there now, who actually works
Mhm.
at Disney. And
Yep.
if you notice, she's not trying to move back to Kentucky. I mean,
I noticed that.
Yeah, she's loving herself down in Florida. So,
Yeah.
But so we've been asking people, like live events, and have you been to any? Well, I actually know you've been to live events because I've been to one with you. Well, I've been to a couple of them with you because we went to the house show in Cincinnati at the time. It was
US Bank Arena, I
US
think.
Bank Arena. Yeah. What is it now?
It's like the Heritage Bank Center or something.
Yeah, something. And I always think it's the arena right next to Great American Ballpark.
Yeah.
They're right there, smack right next to each other.
Yeah.
And so when they have things going on at the same time, parking is a nightmare. And just right down the road also is it was Paul Brown Stadium. What's it now? Paycor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even a Bengals fan. I could say, that's Paul Brown Stadium. Come on.
Right.
Yeah. And but we've been to that. We've also been to I want to say at least 2 of the NWF events in Mount Orab.
I've been to 2 or 3 of those. Yeah, I haven't been in a long time, but yeah, there was I would say probably 3. And then when I was younger, I actually remember my brother vaguely taking me back down to Cincinnati, and I think we went a couple different times. And I want to say one of the times was actually a steel cage match.
Okay.
But I don't remember who it was with. I mean, my 7-8-year-old brain at the time, just not, remembering things very well. But yeah, there was definitely a steel cage match. That's all I can remember, though. But that was pretty cool, seeing him lower the cage down, over the ring. So, but yeah.
I have seen now some cage matches live, but they were actually with the NWF. Cage is not as high as what it is in the WWE, but it is still kind of interesting to watch. Now that's one of the things about cage matches, though. I think those are probably easier to watch on TV.
Yeah,
because they always move the camera around. You're not trying to look through.
Yeah.
Right.
Chain link. But
well, this was like that old, like blue painted.
Oh, the blue bar.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
This was not like today's steel cage or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? This was like, the real deal. So.
Wow. So that's the one that they brought in. They said they had to have the reinforced cage at WrestleMania 2 for Hogan and Bundy.
Yeah.
But no, it was so the cameras could see in easier.
Right.
Yeah, they don't even use the big blue anymore, do they, Dwaylon?
No, they got rid of it. Trying to think. Around the time they introduced Hell in a Cell, they
Okay.
slowly started phasing out that blue one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'd heard some stories about that thing. There was no give to it. You got
Oh yeah,
slammed into
Oh,
that,
I
it would
wonder what.
hurt.
yeah. Mick Foley said there was absolutely no give at all
Yeah.
because he had one SummerSlam '97. He had a match. They were the opener actually. It was him and Triple H in a steel cage match, and they were in that big blue cage.
How do you open with a steel cage match?
I don't know.
That's
It worked though. It got the crowd hot though.
all I can imagine. Because it used to be the cage match. That was always the last match because, well, you
Yeah.
had to take the time to put the cage up, and then you had to take the time to take it back down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Of course, now, like you said, Keri, they could just lower it down and
yeah,
Yeah.
or be like
And that-
Seth Rollins and almost get spiked with it.
yeah. That's probably another reason they phased out that big blue one too, because they couldn't really do that. They had to take the separate pieces off
Yeah.
after the match. So
Mm.
Yeah, Keri, did you ever see that where they had the cage, it was lowering and Seth Rollins was right under it, and all of a sudden he looked up and there was let's say it's a spike. What it was, I mean, it's the kind of a post that would actually it would guide into to where it would
Mhm.
actually hold everything steady, and it came about an inch
Yeah.
away from
yeah,
going, and all of a sudden he's like, "Whoa!" and he had
Yeah.
to stop at yeah,
it would have got him right in the middle of the back too.
yeah,
Oh,
it would have
wow.
just completely
No, I didn't-
impaled him.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. So now they make sure, okay, don't be under the cage.
Yeah.
Even if, you got to kind of watch those things.
Yeah.
Now, being a female fan, because I mean, you still don't see a lot of female wrestling fans. Now you are seeing a lot more female wrestlers now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, grammatically, I like saying now apparently, but you see a lot more female wrestlers. So I'm guessing that the number of female fans is rising. But you still just don't see a lot, and I don't get why, because I mean it's fun for everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't either. I mean, it's yeah, I agree. It's fun for everybody. I got Matt into it, you
Mhm.
know. So, me being a female fan, I got my husband into it and he loved it, once he started watching it. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they just are like Tawana and just deny that they don't like it when they really do like it. Because we know she does that. We know that.
Oh, I know. We'd be watching. She'll claim I'm watching it. She's just in the room, and I'm like, yeah, because your legs are broken and you can't walk out, right?
Mhm.
And
Right.
she'll start making comments. And because I used to text Dwaylon, I was like, here's Tawana's comment of the
Yeah.
pay-per-view. And one of them, I actually asked, well, who do you think is going to win this and this? She's like, I think Carmella's face is gross. I'm like, okay. She did
Like,
not
all
like.
right, all
She
right.
did not like Carmella for whatever reason,
And
but
then I would get a text and be like, Camilla's face is gross. And I'd be like, yeah, I know, right? But then I was like, wait a minute. I didn't think you were watching this,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, sure.
yep. And that's why she's bought me, I just showed you the Ultimate Warrior
Yeah.
thing. She
yeah.
actually there's something else, another Christmas gift that she got for me. It's a
Oh,
wrestling
cool.
steel cage game. Like I plugged directly into the TV. I haven't opened it yet, but
Cute.
it says as seen on TV or plug and play TV game, steel cage challenge.
Hmm.
And it's got the big blue,
Okay.
Really?
as part of it.
Wow.
Yep. So, but yeah, she buys all the wrestling stuff. She knows what to get, but yet she doesn't watch it. Sure.
She doesn't watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She even had her Jericho list too.
Yes, she bought the
Yes,
list of
and
Jericho.
I was at the very top of it. So yes, she can't deny it.
Yeah, when I say Dwaylon, they've been friends for a long time. Yes, they have been friends. All they do is just talk trash about each other.
Right.
I mean, that's what friends do, right?
Exactly.
I'm about to tell her we are talking mad smack about you right now. Mad. That's also trash. So, um, yeah. Oh, and Dwaylon, Keri does have a nickname just for us, and because when Avery was about 2 years old and she was
Hmm.
still, learning how to say things, she couldn't say Keri. To her, it sounded like carrot. So
Oh, okay.
been
Okay.
calling Keri Carrot ever since.
Yeah, so feel free.
Um, yeah. So you say, "Hey, Carrot, how you doing?" "Oh, hey, how's it going?"
Right.
Um, or sometimes we'd get a text because when we shared a cell phone, "Hey, what's your wife doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're sticking pins in the Keri voodoo doll or something like that."
Yeah.
So that's how you know you're good friends.
Right.
You know, you say that, it's like, "Oh, that was pretty creative. I gotta I gotta remember that one."
Yeah, I got to remember that one.
Yep. So um. Oh, okay. That's funny because Tawana, she had already texted. I'm talking to one of my new agent friends. You're at the Portland area around the wrestling community. Her mom took lots of promo photos. Ricky Santa is her grandpa. Raven is one of her great friends growing up and still is. Huh.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Um, I'm about to. I'm I'm tempted to send her the Zoom link and get her on, but I know she wouldn't get on. You ain't get
Right.
me on camera. but, oh, but Carrie, like we were saying about being a female fan, do you catch grief for not just for being a fan? Because we all catch grief for being wrestling fans. How do you watch that? Don't you know it's fake? And blah blah blah. And what was the reaction we heard the other day, Dwaylon, about when we were talking to BC and Jay from Wrestling with the Truth, Wrestling with the War?
Yeah, it's like, people want to give us grief for being wrestling fans, but at the same time, it's like they'll watch soap operas or, movies and TV shows and
Or
different
quote
things.
unquote reality shows.
Exactly. And it's
Yes.
like I
Yeah.
don't see the difference. You like what you like, and we like what we
Yeah.
like.
I mean, it's all forms of entertainment,
Exactly.
Hmm.
So if you enjoy it, if it puts a smile on your face, or you and your family enjoy watching it together, what's the big deal? You
Right.
know? Yeah, I never understood that either, you know? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, but
Me either.
Um, yeah, Karen. The next time they have an NWF show in Mount Orb, I'm gonna make you go to it.
yeah, I need to go. I
Yeah,
do.
I think the next one's in March, actually.
Is it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I could have took you down to the one in Covington a couple of days ago, but that would look kind of weird. Me taking my wife's friend. Well, Leighton went with me too, but
Yeah.
because you missed a pretty good heel turn from Nikki Victory. Do you
Oh,
remember that
really?
name? Yeah,
Yeah,
Nikki Victory.
I do remember her. And
Yeah.
she's been doing some AEW dark
Yes.
match stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
becoming a regular on there.
Yeah.
Yep. Her name's out there. She turned heel. Not Dwayne and I, we knew just from because we know the patterns, we know what to look for because
Yeah.
we've been watching it for way too long. And I'm not saying we could be promoters or bookers, but
Hmm.
we can
You can kind of
sense when
see where it's
something.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And I thought she and Riley Matthews, who I'm pretty sure you haven't seen her because she's only been at it for about a year and a half, and she just turned 20. So if that tells you, I mean, she's still pretty young.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
they've been a team, but they actually had a couple matches together, like fan favorite versus fan favorite type of thing. But then Nikki pinned her one time by holding her trunks, and I'm like,
Hmm.
there it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then they had a couple tag matches, and they had a miscommunication. And one was in Mount Orb where Riley knocked Nikki off the apron. And it's like,
Yep. You're
and
watching
then
it build up. Yeah.
build up. And the other night they had another tag match against Big Mama. And
Hmm.
you remember Big Mama?
I do. Yeah.
Not Dwaylen's Big Mama, but the wrestler Big Mama. And Breezy, who's another one. She and Riley both started, but the fact I saw it was Breezy's third match, but it was Riley's very first match. I saw them in the parking lot of not Jake Sweeney, but maybe it was Jake Sweeney. It was one of the ones like out towards Tri County, one of the
Right.
car lots out. Yeah, I saw them wrestle in a car lot,
Oh my
and
god.
yeah, and but they had a tag match, and Riley accidentally kicked Nikki in the face like hard, like a haluva kick. Well, I mean, it was like, wow, like,
Oh,
ooh.
wow.
I told Riley, and I said, that's a pretty good kick. And, and this was like during the intermission.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, it was an accident. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know. um, but then not the very last match of the night, but the next to last match, it was Joshua against Andrew Reed. And I know you've seen both of them because they were both back then. Back in the day, Joshua actually was a good guy, but he's been a bad guy. Him and Andrew Reed used to be tag team partners. They split up, and Joshua had this thing. Him and Nikki were actually feuding because and he was just I'll put it this: that girl can take some bumps, like some just nasty bumps. Because I saw her take a spine buster from Ryan Stone way back in the day. And you remember, she's a tiny little thing.
She is. She's tiny. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, Ryan Stone, he's bigger than we are.
Oh, wow.
And he laid like an Arn Anderson looking spine buster on her.
Man.
And she took it, and I was like, oh! I'm thinking they're going to have to like scrape her off the mat.
Yeah.
And then Joshua, he was just doing some like slamming her face off there. I'm like, y'all stop. Well, she came out like almost interfered in the match. She stopped Joshua from using a chain to hit Andrew Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Chain dropped. Andrew Reed over the referee. All of a sudden, she picked up the chain, put it around her neck, and then she racked Andrew Reed. The guy, she supposedly was in there. Yeah. Saving. Mm-hmm. And that's when Riley came out. And Dwaylon, I know you've seen some of the pictures that I posted on. After she and Joshua, Nikki and Joshua were just putting the boots to Andrew Reed, and I got the picture of that, and I was like, yeah, couples goals.
Yeah, I saw that.
So
nice.
And then Riley came out to add, what's going on? And I got the picture right as Nikki charged her. So Riley's actually taking that picture, and now she put it on her own, and she's like moments before disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually
I saw that earlier.
Yeah. And somebody else grabbed the picture I put with the couples goals and shared it on the NWF stuff, and I was like, you could at least give me a little bit of credit for that. Right. Just snagging my picture.
Yeah.
Right.
But all I put it was nice picture, and I put a little smiley face, like
I see what you did. Yeah.
I see what you did. I see what you did there. You just always do is say, hey, because when she posted it, she always, because it's not the first time she's actually took a picture. I said to her, I was like, hey, I got a picture in the ring. I've done the same thing for Andrew Reed. I actually got him in mid. Finally, I want to get him doing his moonsault. And I finally got it. Problem was he didn't do a full on moonsault because he did more or less a somersault because Joshua had moved out of the way.
Oh, okay.
So he came down on his feet. And so instead of like coming back, like that, he's curled up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still got him in midair, and I sent it to him. So there's a lot of them. If I get good pictures of them, especially midair, I got Tiny Tim like in the corner, punching Mr. Desmond. Yeah. I sent that because Tiny Tim doesn't have social media, but his wife does. Jessica, I don't know, you might actually know her, Keri, but possibly Jessica Hall.
Jessica Hall. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, she I know she knows Tawana because they both sub, at the school. So but yeah, I just sent it to her, and I was like, hey, here's a picture of Tim, and you see him as a perfect picture of him just laying into him in the corner.
Yeah.
But Riley, she tagged me in it, when she posted it on Facebook, and I was like, oh, because and so she does that.
That's cool.
Somebody else didn't. I was like, really? You stole the picture off Twitter, and then
right.
And I can't believe I totally forgot about this. Matt and I went to a Monday Night Raw in Dayton, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe. Wow. It was when CM Punk was still with WWE, and he was the last match. He was our favorite at the time, and I still love CM Punk. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's a big baby, he's a whiner, whatever, but I do still like him a lot. And we were like 3 or 4 rows back from the ring. We were on the floor.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you, once you get them 4 seats, there's no other seat that compares.
Right.
There isn't. And they were perfect. We saw CM Punk, we saw Sheamus, We saw Brock Lesnar, Triple H. We saw all of them. And we actually saw Jon Moxley as somebody else.
Oh, Dean Ambrose.
They did. No. He was even under another name, maybe.
Really?
Maybe he was under Jon Moxley.
Probably not in WWE,
but it was like was like a dark match. It wasn't like a televised match. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because he did do some before the Shield started in NXT. He did do some dark matches.
Yeah, and I don't remember what name he wrestled at that point, but that was fun. And CM Punk actually did a dark match after Raw went off air.
The bonus match.
Yeah, and we were such big fans. We're complete dorks, but we made signs and everything. We were on the TV because we were on the TV side.
Mm-hmm.
We were
really
camera.
Okay.
And I'm sure I have this DVD somewhere because we did have a DVD of it. But yeah, we made a few different signs. We had one sign that had CM Punk's like hands and his glove with his tape, whatever. And we were like holding it up, and he like pointed at us and he like giving us the thumbs up because we're a sign, and that was really cool. That was really cool.
I'm going to make it my quest now to find it because they're all on the network.
Yeah.
So, and tonight,
well, this would have been April or May of 2012, maybe.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dwaylon, we're going to have to find that one.
Oh yeah, we got to find that one.
Yeah, but it was good. It was good. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, once you get the 4 seats, nothing else compares. So.
Yeah, because when we saw Raw in Columbus a couple years ago, we didn't have floor seats. We were opposite the hard camera because Tawana wanted to get. She made sure we got opposite the hard camera.
Yeah.
We were way up there. I think at one point you may have seen like the person in front of us. I don't know. And it was like they didn't have the camera going up that high usually. And then when that was the night that Braun Strowman and Big Show broke the ring, Of course, I couldn't see it as good because as soon as he put him off in that second, everybody knew it was going to happen. So everybody stood up. My son was on my shoulder asleep. And so I was trying to stand up and kind of look around everybody, but I couldn't.
Right. Yeah. You couldn't really move. Yeah.
Yeah. Because by that point, it was 11 o'clock at night. It was live. So he was out. But that was the night that Tawana bought that list of Jericho, and she went with Leighton, my son, down to get him like a drink or something, and she comes back with a list of Jericho. I'm like, yeah, you're not a fan at all.
Yeah, you don't like this at all.
Yeah, she's such a liar.
Now, if you asked her, to name who some of her favorite wrestlers, Chris Jericho actually was one of the ones, just because of the whole, what happens when you get put on the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she still has it. Yeah, she did. She wrote Keri's name on it. And
I think that my name was the only one on there, honestly.
It was, yeah. It really was. So in fact, let me see. I said, yeah, we're talking. She's like, yeah, shocked. I'll ask her, do you want to come on the show?
She's going to say no.
I'll just shoot her the link real quick, and she'll be like, "What? If she'll even see it." Yeah, Avery, she's been on there like once or twice. Dwaylon, it was like, when she was up at Wright State.
Yeah,
because she and her friends were doing something, and I was like, "Hold on," and I said, "So here, come on." She's like, "What?" And because I said she was harassing her friends, forcing her friends to watch Twilight.
Yeah.
She's read it. She's not answering.
That means no.
Yeah. Either that or she's thinking about it. But anyway, Keri, you've already said that you really don't watch a lot today's, but for what you do know, though, what do you think about today's product as compared to when you first started watching, so many years ago?
Well, I mean, obviously now, much older. So, you kind of, back then, it's real, the blood's real usually, the injuries are real usually, um, but, I guess, the reason I haven't watched it as much the last couple of years is just because it's at least with WWE, it got really repetitive.
Yeah, it
Same
did.
people holding the belts, same tag teams doing the same. Always Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns. Always, and it's like, seriously, there's got to be better creative there than that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's what brings the people in. The Roman Reigns matches, the Brock Lesnar matches, whatever. That's fine, but it just got really repetitive, and I'm like, I need a break from this. So I watched AEW a few times, which was really good. I was really excited about AEW when they first came out. And I still am. And I'll just follow things on websites, see who's doing what and whatever. But yeah, I mean, maybe I'll start to get back into it soon. Just to see like what happens, especially if they end up selling WWE. That might be kind of interesting once they sell out what's going to happen then. But yeah, it just got kind of boring and just repetitive. So I think that was my biggest reason why I haven't watched it. So, and I didn't get that feeling back in the day. Probably was that way, and I just didn't realize it at the time. But yeah, that's probably the biggest reason why I don't really watch it anymore.
And right now, as we're all yapping our flaps, they're doing the 30th anniversary of Raw tonight.
Are they?
Yeah, so they've taken all the legends out of mothballs and parade them out. That's what they're pretty much what they're going to do.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, because there was somebody who couldn't make it, and I can't remember who it was.
I know Tatanka couldn't.
That's who it was. Yeah,
his son had a like regionals or something.
Yep,
that they were going to.
And what do we say about our show, Dwaylon?
Family first.
Family first. Because yeah, Keri, anytime that we've with a few exceptions, anytime we've missed recording for a week, it's been because something to do with family.
Yep.
Although a couple of times my work interfered because I was working like way too much at the time. It just happened to be that time of the year.
Or COVID or the flu interfered.
Yeah, that was another thing, and that happened to both of us. It ran through Dwaylon's house, and then it ran through my house.
Yeah.
And yeah. So yeah.
Well, and just an FYI, my family's going to interfere here too shortly because I got to get Mitchell to bed.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got to go make sure my son goes to bed too. Because,
right.
He and I both stayed home today. I mean, I was working from home, but we were both sick yesterday. Had some stomach issues going on, and he still claimed to have it again this morning.
He do it, didn't he?
Yeah, but then I was like, all right, no video games, no laptop. I let him have his phone. That was about it. I said, you don't get those at all. Okay. Then later on, he's asking for. I'm like, no. I was like,
no, you were sick.
I was like, yeah. I was like, so I took away the incentive for.
Yeah, exactly.
He admitted he's faked it in the past. He admitted.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but I told him 9:30. He's taking melatonin and he's gonna take his butt to bed.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Yep. And by the way, Tawana, she said, I'm literally on a bus going to Animal Kingdom. Yeah, so that's right. They're having a special thing with her agency. They're having the entire Pandora ride, like that area, just them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and if you've never rode like the Flight of Passage, dude, you got to go to Disney. You got to ride that. Actually, you may have the same problem I do because last time it hurt very much bad trying to get the thing, trying to strap on. It's like, Disney, you don't have the issue. Kings Island, I do. I can't ride anything almost over there anymore because I've gotten too fat for the thing to come down. You know how embarrassing that is? get on the road. And my brother-in-law's with me. He's like, "Oh, sucks to be you."
Sucks to be you. Bye.
Bye. But anyway, Keri, yes, I know you got to get Mitchell to bed, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice
Thanks
to meet you.
for coming on. Nice to meet you too.
And
Had fun.
you said you want to start your own podcast, so we'll have to
Maybe,
keep up with
yeah.
how that's going. So
Well, I'm still thinking about it, but yeah, I think I would really like to do one. So
yeah, she has a lot to say.
I do.
So,
Most women do, right?
yes. But whenever you get that going, I mean, we'll let all our fans know, and I'm gonna find the Raw with you and Matt holding up your
You
sign
do
and
it.
see,
You do it.
CM Punk going, yeah.
We even have he and I both have matching shirts on. It was the hustle, loyalty, respect. John Cena
I used to have
shirts.
that. I used to have
Oh,
that
wow.
shirt. Yeah.
Yes. So he has one on. I have one on. We have these huge signs. You'll see our son's names, Barrett and Linnell, on there. You'll see us for sure.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah, this was before Mitchell was even born. So
Yeah. I actually I found out I was pregnant with him like 2 weeks later.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I can remember like what year it was and like
gotcha. Yeah.
what month it was. Yeah.
So, all right. Cool. So now I'm on a quest, and I will find it. Trust me, I will find it, and I will. Yeah. So, but all right, Keri, thank you again, and with everybody, good night and God bless.
You too. Take care, guys.